What's up, YouTube? Today I have an amazing guest. I have Jess with me. Thank you so much for accepting the invite. Jess is representing PWCC, a platform that I actually talk a lot about on this channel. I really love using PWCC, especially because I'm overseas, so PWCC helps me a lot, specifically with the Vault. But for viewers that may not know you, I will also leave all the links below the video if they want to check your profile, because I think PWCC everyone knows about it. But yeah, share a couple of words with my viewers.
Yeah, so my title here is the Director of Business Development for PWCC. And so I've been here since before we even built our vault that you were referencing. But as a company, we really focus on building tools and infrastructure for the international card community to support, right? For liquidity, for safe storage. So we have different marketplaces. We have our premier auction, we have our weekly auction, and then we have fixed price sales as well. So you can send all your stuff to our vault. It all gets digitally archived. You can access it from anywhere in the world from your phone. And then, if you want to sell something with a click of a button, send it to auction. And so for those clients internationally, it's actually really big to be able to get your cards into the States, and then they can stay here in the swirl that is the United States, take advantage of grading, take advantage of, lending, of other resources like that you might not be able to get overseas.
No, for sure. I use PWCC a lot. I live in Portugal, so I send cards to grade, then I put the address of my vault. And for me, this is an amazing service that, again, if I was living in America, not sure if I would be using that much, but living overseas is such an amazing service. So the way this works, Jess, is I have 5 questions for you. I will start with the first one. I know we have some time limit today, so I will try to go a little bit faster. So the first question is actually related with Europe. So I'm European, as you know, at this point, and I see our region becoming more and more important in the collectible world, in the collectible space. And I think PSA opening a grading office in United Kingdom shows exactly what I'm talking about. First of all, I would love to know your thoughts about the European potential. If you can relate with soccer, that will be great. But for people that, since this channel is about soccer, TCGs are also quite big in Europe, Pokemon, Magic, The Gathering, etc. So basically, it's 2 questions. The first, your first thoughts on the potential of Europe, and if PWCC, you don't need to share numbers, of course, is also seeing the growth of European demand.
Yeah, the European market's actually seen a lot of growth. I'm sure you're aware of the European card tour that's going to be going on over in Europe. We're going to be there in November for the first kickoff of the show in Munich. And so there's a ton of growth internationally in general. And look, soccer is the most popular sport in the world, right? So it's going to be a big focal point of that international growth, and we're definitely seeing that. I believe that our platform specifically has a really good buyer pool of soccer buyers because we were on eBay for so long, right? So eBay does have a very broad reach, and the problem with eBay though is just if it's not curated by a professional individual like ourselves, then usually the assets aren't represented properly, right? So us going off of eBay, but taking all of that information that we had previously from a buyer perspective, it enabled us to really grow a really big soccer following. So, I actually played soccer in high school. I was a goalie. So I do love soccer, and I don't follow it as close as some of the other experts would, in the space. There's some guys that are incredibly knowledgeable about soccer, but that specific niche has seen a ton of growth in the last 3 years. And I actually made the statement that I think it's going to be one of our bigger sectors here in the coming years. I'm very bullish on soccer, and look, the European community and the European market is going to be a big part to drive that.
No, I agree 100%. A fun stat, and this is anecdotal data to be fair, but I tend to share with my viewers. When I started my channel, basically my audience was like 70% from the United States of America. Right now is 35%. The rest comes from Asia, Europe. So even in Portugal, I'm seeing a lot of growth. Of course, is more people they have Cristiano Ronaldo rookies and they try to make money with them, but the awareness is increasing quite a lot. So again, related with this, I think PSA made a very smart move, especially being the first big grading company opening an office in Europe. And I think they also have a lot of marketing to come to the region because they need cards at the end of the day. But yeah, great answer. So question number two, I would say this is a more complex one to be fair with you. With the crazy growth we saw in the soccer card market in the last 2-3 years, we also saw some bad things, not related with PWCC to be fair, but for example, grading companies, they've been doing a lot of mistake cards that should not be a PSA 2, others should not be a PSA 4, a couple of fakes, etc. I think with time things will get better. I think they need to adjust. It's normal. We are PSA calls us an emergent market. I agree with that. We are still a very new market. But I'm not even criticizing PWCC because I really think you guys do a great job. But I think with time, trying to label things correct, because again, that's, you can say, oh, that's for PSA, Beckett, etc. But for example,
Sure.
you guys are the one determining what you put rookie or not. And sometimes I personally see some mistakes on PWCC. To be fair, it's not only PWCC, all the other action houses do that. My question is, PWCC, not sure if right now you guys have an expert for the soccer card market. And if not, do you guys want to expand more in the future, having someone that really knows the stuff about the soccer card market? Because to be fair, soccer is really complex. You know, he lives in Portugal, in Spain, is basically probably one of the most complex markets that we have right now.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say we have a soccer expert on staff. We have people that understand the soccer market. But really, I think what it comes down to is building the operations of the company, being able to have people title cards and having those people knowledgeable enough to catch errors or catch mistakes that maybe grading companies make or that even our own people make. It's not an easy process, and I'm not making excuses, but it's just, there's like, people are people and people are human, and there's going to be mistakes. It's going to happen. Over time, I think you said it right. Like, these things will get cleaned up. People will be more aware of it. I mean, look, we still make mistakes on basketball cards and baseball cards and football cards. Like, it happens. It's not just the soccer market. And the same with grading companies, grading fake cards and stuff like that. They're going to get smarter. They're going to get better. But guess what? So are the fakes. So, everyone's got to step their game up and do that. But, as far as a soccer expert in house too, actually, it's funny. I had a call today with a guy a couple hours ago that I'm trying to bring on board, who's a soccer expert for sure. So we're investing in growing the soccer space. I see the potential. I've got a nice hot take for you at the end of this thing, but soccer is, like I said, it's a massively emerging market, and I just think that there's a ton of potential.
No, and that makes me really happy to know, being honest with you, because I love to use PWCC, and I think you guys have done so many things right in the past that for us, for the soccer card market, look, I have a Discord, one of the biggest Discords in the soccer card market. And when there is an auction, the weekly auctions, we tend to talk about a lot of stuff there, share perspective. Are you bidding on this or not? And sometimes we see a couple of mistakes that's why I'm asking this. Nothing that bad, to be fair, normal mistakes, being honest with you. But I think if you guys have that person that knows just a bit more, you guys can improve quite a lot. That being said, still an amazing service. So, hey guys, quick pause on the video. Hope you're enjoying this talk with Jess. I had a great time, so don't forget to leave a like on the video. I would appreciate that quite a lot. Apart from that, also check Jess on social media, in this case Instagram. Two things I want to talk with you is my Patreon community, where I have exclusive content. The first reason to join the Patreon community should be supporting the channel, and I appreciate that quite a lot. But I also provide a lot of value there. So joining Patreon gives you access to exclusive content every week, Q&A every Wednesday, and the extra audio on Saturday. If you join right now, you have the future ones and also 60 exclusive videos already recorded. So link below the video if you want to join the community. Another thing is my Discord server, totally free to join. We are more than 800 members, crazy number to think about. Amazing place to learn and share about the soccer card market. And again, there is no reason to not join. You are actually missing a lot if you are not there. So both links will be below the video. Let's continue. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Very important. And let's go into the video. The question number 3 is, I would say, a fun one, because I was talking with PWCC on Instagram about this, so this is almost me cheating on the question, because I already know the answer. But you guys recently have started a great partnership with Beckett CSG. Basically, I can get my cards raw graded with you, and you guys then sell sell the cards for me. I think the service overall is an amazing idea. But let's be real. Let's say I have a Cristiano Ronaldo rookie that in a PSA 10 sells for a lot. I grade with you guys, let's say with Beckett, and instead of a 9, and I'm expecting I get a 7. Maybe I want to keep the card on my vault. Maybe I don't even want to sell anymore, because maybe that's more a collector grade for me than an investment type of grade that I want to profit. So this is a question and a suggestion, if I can make one, that I think the service is amazing, but I would love if you guys at least give an option. Let's say I put, if the grade is not this, you can keep the cards on the vault, something around these lines. What do you think about? Is this something that you guys are also thinking about, basically? And yeah, a couple of thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's on our radar for sure. We've actually had discussions with said grading companies about potentially offering just a vaulting service with grading. The logistics around allowing someone to select whether to sell or not after it's been graded is kind of the complicated part of it, right? So it's something that we're looking at. We definitely think that there's room to grow these partnerships. There's room to give additional options for people that want to send stuff to grading, because I know internationally too that it's, you know, not having access to all the grading companies is difficult, right? And so you want to be able to send your stuff in, get it graded, and then make an educated decision after that of what to do with it. So chances are what'll probably happen is we'll have a second layer of grading. Maybe it's a little bit more expensive, but it'll give you the option where you don't have to send it right to marketplace, and it'll go into your vault graded. And then if you want to sell it, you can sell it from there. But maybe it'll be $5 more card, $10 more card, whatever it may be, right? But then you have the flexibility and the option, because part of the reason why we got such good rates and such fast turn times with the grading companies is because they want to gain back market share. They want to get more cards on the market, right? So they want to see those cards that are graded sold. So if they're going to lose that piece, and this is just full transparency, my guess is that they will come back and say, well, yeah, if they don't have to sell them, then we need to charge an extra $5 or $10 because that card's not going to hit the market. Well, there's no guarantee that card's going to hit the market, right? So yeah, we've been talking about it internally. We brought it up to the grading companies, and I would actually expect maybe like, you know, early Q1 next year. So maybe in January that we will roll out a service where that'll be an option.
Oh, again, great news. I'm really happy with that. Look, I guess I can share with you how I operate my collection. Basically, I use middlemen a lot of times to grade my cards, but I'm more a collector than, I would say, an investor, a person that flips a lot of stuff. It is not my case at all. But if you guys add that, the service you are talking about right now, I guess I can make everything with PWCC. It will be basically a one-shop stop for me. And as a person that lives outside of America, that will help me tremendous with fees, etc. I would not mind pay extra fee as long things are much easier for me. So again, really happy with the answer, being honest with you. So the question number 4, PWCC recently started talking about different markets in the collectible space. I'm talking about comics, memorabilia, and video games. I have a fun question for you, very macro question. So I understand there is good buys in every market, and as a PWCC representative, you probably say buy and sell all of them. But basically, so let's start with this. comics, memorabilia, and video games. Buy one, sell one, hold one.
Let's see. Sell one would be, that's tough, man. This is a tough question because I really like all of them. I would say sell one would be comics. Buy one would be video games. Hold one would be memorabilia.
Okay.
Game used memorabilia.
Give me a quick explanation.
I'll give you an explanation. So I would say to sell comics right now, because I think comics have had a really good run up. I think that while comics are amazing and I love them, and they're actually one of my favorite things to hold in person is a graded comic. I absolutely love it. I think the market has grown a lot, and it's gonna slow down a little bit. So I think taking advantage, if you've made some good returns, some good gains in comics, I'd probably sell them right now. Video games, I say buy now because they're so early in video games. And obviously if you're buying now, you're not going to sell it. So you're going to hold that. I think video games are super nostalgic. I personally don't play video games anymore. I haven't played video games in almost 20 years, but even myself was looking at, for me, I'm 38. So growing up, GoldenEye 007 was a huge game. Tecmo Bowl was a huge game.
I also played that. So.
Did you? Yeah. See? So, and once again, like comics, holding the video games when they're graded in your hands, it's pretty impressive. And that market is so early. I think there's a ton of growth room in that market. And then memorabilia, if you have it, I'd say hold it, because I think memorabilia is really starting to get some shine right now. I mean, we've seen, the Jordan jersey sell for over 10 million. There's going to be some other big sales come out of memorabilia. So I think that in the next few years, memorabilia is really going to take off. So that's why I'd say buy, sell, and hold on those three.
Yeah, the Maradona jersey also sold for a crazy amount of money. Yep. So just quick thoughts about this. Comics is not a thing that I have interesting, to be honest with you. I did not grow up with that. But specific talking more about video games, I agree with you. I know there is some hot take sometimes about video games that people do not understand. But I actually, and I share this on my YouTube channel a couple of times, this is my crazy hot take about the entire collectible space. I think video games over time will become the #1 collectible in the world. Again, I'm not sure if it will be in 10, 20 years, but it's just a generation thing. I think they have been, I don't know, I think yes, I have nostalgia for certain players in soccer. I played so many hours playing Nintendo 64, and I completely understand why there is so many people believing in video games, because even if I'm not in that market, I have a couple, to be fair, but nothing crazy. I honestly believe a lot long run, and I'm happy to see PWCC expanding more into different markets, because I think if one category grows, everything grows in general. So
yeah, I agree. I think the collectible space, we're getting more to a place where people with institutional money and investors in the stock market, they're getting kind of tired and bored, I think, of the normal investments they're making, and they're looking at alternative investments. And so whether it's trading cards or video games or comics or memorabilia, as PWCC, because we're getting into these verticals, we want to have that infrastructure that we've had for trading cards be replicated in those other markets. And so I would make the argument that I think the supply for video games might not be enough to make it #1. There might not be enough video games out there, because the one thing we have about trading cards is that there's so many trading cards, right? But I still think that supply could be an issue. If Fanatics does what they say they're going to do for trading cards, the awareness gap is going to shrink, the masses are going to get involved, and the demand is going to increase drastically for trading cards. And so I think that's going to create, the supply demand mismatch that could be video games. I think prices could go crazy for video games, right? But I don't know from a quantity perspective if there is enough out there. But then again, you look at CIBs where there's no seal on the box, right? It's just cartridge in box. Though the CIBs could be huge, like that hasn't really caught on yet. They're fairly inexpensive, unless it's a really rare CIB, but that could be the supply that's needed to really take the video game market to the next level.
No, for sure. And another thing that I would add into this conversation is the European versions that right now are not worth a lot. But
Mhm.
again, if the American versions get super expensive, in my opinion, it's a question of time until there is a trickle down
Right.
effect
And it
to
brings those up.
exactly the European version, Canadian version, etc. But I'm with you on that. I think the supply could basically make sense what you said, in the sense that cards they trade much more often. There is a bigger supply than video games, and even the entry point on a graded video game is quite higher than if you want to
Mhm.
buy a PSA slab right now. There is a lot of them quite cheap.
Sure.
Video games is not the case. I mean, even grading, I don't want, this is the top of my head, but I believe is around $60. So is
Mm.
already a strong fee
Right.
for
Yeah,
a
there's a little more friction to get into the space
yeah.
for video games than there is for trading cards, for sure.
No, for sure. So the last question is a question I ask everyone that comes to the podcast: is unpopular opinion, hot take about the hobby. Could be about the soccer card market or the entire hobby.
Mhm.
Is up to you.
Okay. So my hot take is I think the soccer market will be the biggest market in trading cards in 5 years.
Oh wow,
I
that's
believe it.
okay. You basically end up winning all my viewers already because
That's not the goal, but like I said before, I really do believe it. Like, look, it's the most popular sport in the world. Our international reach as an industry is just starting. So the infrastructure that we're going to have for the international market to be able to, access grading, like liquidity marketplaces, and have the world operate as one instead of just this United States market, it's going to open up the doors for everybody. Fanatics is going to do a good job with the awareness gap. We're going to have, it'll be 2 World Cups under our belt by that point. And I just think that the only thing that's going to hold back soccer is maybe supply. I just think that could be the only issue. But outside of that, I think that soccer cards, like if I was going to invest in one card right now that I was going to hold for 5 years, it would easily be a soccer card, probably a Messi or Ronaldo. I mean, that's what I would do. Game used or match used, on card autos. Those are the kind of things that I like personally. So I've actually been looking. I absolutely am in love with flawless soccer cards. I just think they're
it's
gorgeous.
going crazy right now.
Yeah, they're and they should because they're. I mean, it's that for me. That's the prettiest soccer card. Just the way it looks, it's gorgeous. And what I love about some of the jerseys too is you can get some incredible patches. Incredible patches, because I know in the other sports how much of a premium cards go for when they have a really nice 3-color patch. And in soccer, you can get 5 or 6 color patches. Sometimes some of these patches I've seen for Messi are crazy. So yeah, I really believe it, and I think the soccer market has just an unbelievable potential here in the next 5 years.
I agree. I mean, I'm also very bullish about the soccer card market for obvious reasons. But a fun fact about Flawless, I'm not sure if you are aware of this or not. Flawless is going crazy in China right now. Flawless is selling for more in certain auction houses like Cardobi they have there than on eBay for example. So there is actually people trying to buy on eBay, PWCC, etc. to sell.
Sell on, yeah. But see,
Because
like as the international community comes together and we're able to have all this stuff listed on a marketplace that can be accessed everywhere, because I know the firewalls are an issue in China. Once that's worked out and figured out where people can access it from anywhere, well, that's going to light it on fire, right? That's going to pour gasoline on the fire that's already created, and it's going to really open up, I think, access to these cards in the States. It's going to open up everything for the international community to love and respect soccer cards even more than they do now.
Oh yeah, I try to follow the Chinese market to have an idea. They are going crazy about soccer right now, and makes sense because soccer is also super popular in China. They love the Premier League, etc. Yeah, I really believe that soccer. Everyone is aware about the soccer card market right now, but I still feel that we are just starting. For example, a fun number is Maradona, one of the best players ever. The only true rookie is 77 is actually a POG, a disc. You guys hold you guys actually hold the record sale for a PSA 7.
Yep.
That card all grades is below 100 copies. And things, I also follow the Argentina market close. Things are not appearing that much there. So again, if you, like you said, if you put in perspective the demand, the true rookie is below 100 copies, things can get really crazy for soccer. I'm not providing any financial advice, of course. At the end of the day, rarity is the most important thing. And there is a lot of what we call, yes, there is condition rarity, but there is actually strong rarity, true rarity, which I think tends to perform much better in the long run.
I totally agree. I think that the actual rarity of the card itself is something you can't ignore. And if I was buying anything, I would focus with that in mind. I also do think that this sport, being as popular as it is, you know, once people are made aware that, you know, these cards are worth what they're worth and they keep going up in value, you're going to see some big fines, just like we had with like the Black Swamp fine in the United States with all those E98s that were worth millions and millions. You're going to find, you know, we had the 52 Mantle fine where there was like 6 or 7 Mickey Mantle, 52 tops Mickey Mantles, which are worth millions, right? So I think that the popularity and the awareness internationally is going to uncover some larger collections that maybe we've never seen. So I think the populations are going to change and grow as everything grows. It's pretty natural that that would happen. So don't be shocked if in 5 years that Maradona disc, there's been 400 copies graded with PSA, right? 500 copies, maybe more, right? We don't know what the supply is on it.
But still very low.
That's still very rare. That's still very, very rare, right? For one of the greatest soccer players of all time.
So actually, a fun fact again, in Portugal, a couple of TV channels started talking about Cristiano Ronaldo rookies that they are selling for a lot in America. Also, a couple of websites related with soccer also made a lot of news. Same in Spain for Messi, by the way. And I went to the Portuguese eBay, and a lot of them end up appearing, but not as much as I was expecting because the awareness was almost national, you know. So I still think, again, you are totally correct. We don't know the supply for sure, but from what I've been tracking, I believe there is a lot of strong rarity. Some items more than others for sure, but yeah, great conversation. I really enjoyed this one. Just one thing: is your prediction related with the World Cup being in America in 2026?
Has nothing to do with where it is. I just think, because I'm talking about it being bigger than basketball cards, right? So it takes the international community for that to happen. And I just think that by the time that, like, we've gone through 2 World Cups, we've had all this build up to this one in Qatar, then we have you know, another 4 years and another build up for the next one that's in the States. I just think once that completes, it's gonna turn the market on its head. And there's a lot that's going to happen in that 5 years too, with Fanatics, with us, with infrastructure, you know, accessibility internationally. All those things just create the opportunity for the most popular sport in the world to be the most popular trading card sector in the world.
Okay, and yes, Fanatics all the time. Every time I watch an interview related with Fanatics, they talk about the international potential, reaching a new audience. I mean, do not get much better than soccer. Is basically what you need to target if you really want. Of course, there is other markets like F1, TCGs in general that also have the international appeal, but nothing is bigger than soccer if they really want a sport with crazy potential, because we know it's the biggest sport in the world. So Jess, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I really appreciate it. Any final thoughts, if you want to share, feel free.
No, thanks for having me. It was great to be on here and have a good chat with you. I would just say that for anybody watching this who is international and they haven't tested out the vault at a minimum, I would say try to send something there, see how it feels, see how it looks. It'll be digitally archived. You can go into your account, you can check it all out, and then you can send it. You know, we're your fulfillment center too. We can ship it anywhere, anywhere in the world. So just get on there, check us out if you haven't yet. But yeah, this was great talk. Thanks for having me.
No, thank you so much. And guys, don't forget to like. See you guys next time. Bye.